Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
All right.
So Friday after we left work,
Yeah.
it was my very last day of picking up my daughter from school because she right now currently is a 16-year-old with her own vehicle, can get herself places.
Oh my gosh.
So it is it's like a bittersweet deal because that was my favorite thing to do. I love picking my kids up from school. It was my favorite. And now that
It's done.
Yeah, gone.
I'm
Done.
kind of sad for you because
Yeah.
like every single day you leave at 3:45 or whatever.
5:05.
5:05. Yeah. So I have a question off topic. Your guys' intro music, who made it?
Service online.
Oh,
Yeah, we just
It's the same way we got our logo originally. We were at logojoy.com. We got intromusic.com.
Yeah.
We just got whatever we could.
It was
okay.
I can't remember actually.
Didn't
Pat
audio
Patrick do it?
blocks. No,
Oh,
it was just
okay.
something we just luckily found.
Wow.
I even typed. I think because it was we were getting that first month and a half before we had our podcast, we couldn't say what we were really doing.
Yeah.
So I just went into this audio blocks and typed in "we're back" or I don't even know what it was. Something, but this came up. I'm like, hey, I mean, it's whatever.
Damn. No, it's good. It gets me going every single time I hear it play.
Oh,
We've
thanks,
had
buddy.
people ask
Tone
before. It's
setting.
like, what song is that from? You know, it's like the
internet.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have no clue.
It's absolutely so.
We're
there
paying
you go.
$6 a month for Infinity for that bad boy.
Nice,
So we'll see how it works.
Worth every cent.
That's right.
Worth every cent.
That's
Yeah.
why the deal was such a good deal when it came along.
yeah.
We didn't tell Bill about that.
Yeah, right.
The ongoing deal. Speaking of the deal and our network and everything else, kind of give you an update of where things are. And I know, several people have commented that they've kind of taken a look around at hurrdatmedia.com. Take a look at the network and see what other shows are on there. You might recognize some names. And you'll recognize definitely Dax Holt, who was on with us for years on the radio with his Hollywood segment. For years. And then, of course, people watching TMZ TV. And that's how he kind of got famous. And then he started his own website and then his own podcast. And now he does the podcast with Adam Glenn, who is also a former TMZer, Hollywood Raw. Right. And they are just killing it.
Seems like we say that all the time.
I know.
They just keep killing over and over and over and over again.
I know. It's just that they've got such great contacts and they have such a good reputation for not playing gotcha press, paparazzi, right?
Yeah.
And so they get these great guests or they get guests like right on the verge, things that are happening. And for those Bachelor fans that are out there, which I admit I have not been that one, there was a really big get for him just last week when they had Dale Moss on, talking about his relationship with Claire.
I loved me some Dale during this
Right?
season. I loved it, and it was in their season. If people aren't Bachelorette fans, that he was only on the show for 2 weeks, and she left. She was the Bachelorette. She left after 2 weeks because she said, "I don't want to date anybody else here. I just want him." So she proposed to him, and they said, "See ya," and they left. And
That was a huge, like, what?
yeah, that was a big
You know-
deal.
Yeah.
it was a really big deal.
And a whole bunch of drama because they announced who was going to be on The Bachelor and like all the contestants.
Yeah.
And then with COVID, they had to take a break. So people thought maybe they were like contacting one another before the show.
Yeah.
Even now they say that they didn't do it. Like that they weren't in contact.
I
Same
bet they
thing
were.
they said about what do they call that room? They didn't do it. It's called the They Didn't Do It room, right?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Whatever the suite is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what is it called?
I can't remember what it's called.
Honey. Oh my gosh, what is it?
I don't remember.
Because they had the option to stay in the blank suite.
Oh,
It's like the second.
it's
second
the
to last-
fantasy suite.
Fantasy suite. There
otherwise
we go. There
known
we go.
as We Didn't Do It room.
Right.
Yeah.
The hump house.
Yeah, fantasy suite and back to back. Whoever's the Bachelor or Bachelorette, it's back to back nights. They're going on the fantasy.
Yeah,
suite.
they have three.
3 nights.
Yeah,
in
there's
a row.
three,
Wow.
and there actually might even be four. I don't know if it's when they get down from 4 to 3 or from 5 to
I think
4,
it
and
was
then it's
4 to 3.
I think it's 4 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the 4 go to the home.
Yeah.
and then the 3
Yeah.
get to take it home.
Yeah. The thing I don't understand about that show is when the contestants get frustrated that the person that they are falling in love with are going on 3 fantasy
Yeah.
Right.
suites.
Like,
And
are
it's
you new here?
Yeah. Like you signed up for the show.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
You know exactly what's going on.
How
Yeah.
many seasons are they on now?
Oh, like 20.
20 something?
Something the fact
just
checker can look up.
That's what Nick
Bachelor,
is.
yeah.
Nick's our fact checker. How many seasons do we have of this? Because that was, I mean, seriously, nobody knows. I mean, there's nobody that can say, The Bachelor?
Right. Nobody.
What is
Yeah, 25.
25?
And what was so great about them getting Dale on is that Dale had, and this little pro tip, whatever, a little behind the scenes stuff. They actually recorded an interview with Dale right after this whole thing happened because Dale and Adam are buddies. They're friends. And so they recorded it, got it on, and we are getting ready to release it. And Dale called and was like, hey, listen, I said, we can't. Because Kim and Claire were still together at the time.
Yeah.
He's
it was
he
like
goes,
weeks after. Like the season was just wrapping up, I think, right?
Yeah, it was just wrapping up because the actual season was still on.
Yeah.
So he's like, we got to pull it. We can't do it. So Dale's like, I promise no matter what, before I do another interview, I'll do you guys first. So called Dax was like Wednesday of last week. And it's like, hey, listen, I can do it tomorrow morning at 9:00, meaning Thursday morning. And he told us that Barstool Sports, which is a huge outlet, he was going to be doing an interview with them right after ours. So we're like, okay, so we need to not only do that, we need to do it and get it edited, processed, turned around and flipped and produced and published like within hours. And normally it's a week process to get this done.
This minimum 4 days, right? I mean, the whole thing. And so there was like 6 people working on this.
All over the country.
All over the country. Yes, literally.
It was so fun. It was one of those things where I would doing it every day.
It was
would be
the
a little
newsroom.
much.
It was digital newsroom, right?
Yeah,
it was.
Pat was running down the hall with a VHS tape trying to get
to. Not running, but
yeah. And
no, the VHS tape isn't the problem.
That's the running.
It's him running.
Right. Let's fact check that.
And Dax was FaceTiming me because he was typing things and he needed me to pull links from certain points in the YouTube video so he could send to his contacts. And it was the thing that I thought was cool. As once the episode dropped, I kept on refreshing like the Dale Moss Google News page, and throughout the day, it was picked up by Us Weekly, Entertainment Tonight, People Magazine, Access.
Speaking of Us Weekly, while you're looking for their links to Us Weekly's headline, Dale Moss speaks out on Claire Crawley romance, engagement, and more. 5 revelations from Hollywood Raw.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Dax about died.
Got passed out.
He was because for so long they had been referred to as a podcast.
Yeah.
And especially not in a headline. It'd be like the last paragraph would be, quotes taken from Hollywood Raw with Adam, like at the very, very end. So yeah, that was a big deal. And it was super fun and it was super cool. Nick and I had talked about this Friday morning when we got in and like blew the dust off. Yeah. It's like it's so cool to sit and to work with a group of people on a project that's like granted, we have people all over the country working on this, but it's really out of this little office. And knowing that when you get it done and it's all said and it's like you push the button to go, everybody around the world sees it. It's like, that's what we were just working on this morning. Like here, nobody saw that.
Here in this little corner office in a business park in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. Right?
It's just it's just super fun.
That's so awesome. So yay for that. And so, they'll be back with their regular scheduled stuff that they got coming up, but every once in a while something like that falls in their lap, and that's cool.
What other fun shows could we talk about in the Hurrdat Media Network?
Oh my gosh, right? I know.
Especially Omaha people, like Restaurant Hoppin' is Omaha food.
How good is that one doing? He's got literally has chefs are giving him a ring. And like, love what you're doing and how you're doing it. And if you need me, let me know, because they want to get on there. And that's it's local eateries. He's not a critic.
Yeah.
He more like
he's just a food fan.
I would say celebrate. Yeah. It comes from let's celebrate local Omaha food.
Exactly. And he's done food trucks to fine dining.
Yeah, fine dining. Yeah.
And introduced, I'd never heard of Block 16 before, Dan's podcast. And now following them on Twitter. And there hasn't been one picture
that
where
was
I
one
don't
of
want
the
to
early
just
ones of his, right? One of his earliest ones. Yeah, because Block 16's pictures are just criminal.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, just criminal.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I was joking with Dan that I was like, Dan, I'm sure now when you go to restaurants, the chef comes out and like shakes your hand and like gives you the food, and he's like, well, that did happen last Friday.
Oh
of course it did.
Yeah, that is so cool. But I'm so glad to see that. And then the whole Hell Varsity team. If you read their content in Hell Varsity magazine, they all have podcasts.
That's great,
and that's fantastic. And I think last count we've got either in production on the network or there's a couple that have taken a pause, so they haven't had any new episodes for a while. But we're right at 60 podcasts.
It's pretty awesome. And another one that just started, the Shuley Show, which is Shuley, who used to be on Howard Stern show for like 12 years. Now he has his own deal. And I just posted this on Friday on my Instagram too. And he has Frankie McDonald, the weatherman.
Remember
online.
when we had him on the radio show a long time ago?
Yeah, he is on. He's a regular fixture on Shuley's show now, and it's
That's
it's so awesome. He just loves those guys so much, and they just have such a great time. And I think
so
Frankie
good
is
to him.
hilarious. Yeah, I think Frankie's funny, and he just genuinely has a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it's a great show. It's
never
not,
did get my
not for
bobblehead,
everybody, that show.
I know. It's
Yeah,
a
definitely
little
not.
cussy sometimes.
Yes, this is family friendly. That is not family friendly.
No. Even though he's a very family friendly guy in
is.
person,
Yes.
like in real IRL, but this show's not family friendly.
Yeah.
This is true.
I
understand.
so Shuley on next week, actually, Pat's going to
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
And so because Shuley's doing this whole little press circuit in LA, hitting all the major media stops, so I had to go run to the FedEx printing shop to print off posters, and they're on the theme of the show. So when they're like, "Oh, can you forward me in an email?" And I sent it. It was like, just for a heads up, here's the context. This guy's a comedian, and this poster, when you open it, it's going to be PG-13.
Just a heads up,
Just a heads up. The F word is on the poster. So
It's basically, who the F is this D-bag? Right?
Yeah, that is what it says. That's what it says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, and that fits him.
Yes.
But he's also very much a family-friendly guy. You're right about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so true. So we get some really cool stuff that's going on, and so appreciate you guys. So appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
And sticking with us and through the growing pains that have been happening, and actually not a lot of pain. Which is nice, and hoping. And we've been talking about this. It's getting closer. We're not quite to a countdown clock, but it's on the horizon that we'll be moving to the.
I feel like we've had 4 countdown clocks, and
I
keep
do
having
too.
to reset when we get toward the end of it.
Right, and so I'm afraid to say anything because you're going to jinx it.
Well, our lease is up at the end of July, so we got to either get off the pot at some point.
Yeah, fair enough.
As they say.
Yeah. The other thing with the changing time clock, which I'm sure we'll talk about, or I'm sure you'll bring him on the show, but we're launching a podcast for Clay Anderson, the astronaut. So
Which is going to be this summer.
Yeah.
And the preparation for that has been a blast.
So
and
much
you're
fun.
going to love
You and
the-
your space analogies.
Right? I
You
can't
said
help
launch on a
myself.
meeting on Friday, and you said blast now.
It is. It's out of this world. I'm sorry.
So dumb. So dumb.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I can't help it. I have to say he's about as corny as they are, and so there's a lot of that in our emails back and forth.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
But yeah, that's been a lot of fun getting put together, and when I say locals, it's like the hometown crew, and then he's got the NASA crew, and he's got the family unit, and
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
a lot of stuff just explaining the making of an astronaut, which is with Clay is a really cool journey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, so
Not much to
anyway,
fact check on this one.
No, really.
Except The Bachelor.
Except running down the
Bachelor.
hall.
See, and if we weren't, we
5
wouldn't have an
seasons.
official fact checker for our show now. So thank you for being our fact checker.
Yeah. What are you doing this week when?
Since tomorrow is 420, that's like taking Tom Brady to the Super Bowl, taking Shuley on 420 somewhere.
Yeah.
He enjoys wearing marijuana a lot. And gummies. So
Are
yeah,
they
so
good?
we're going to be doing I think we're going to a dispensary at some point, getting him some goods, or he's going to be getting some goods or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that another, like a buffet?
Yes.
A buffet of
Yeah.
goodies.
A buffet of goodies. Yeah.
I saw he picked up a sponsor that is like they make weed
Freeze pipe or whatever. There's a freeze pipe one.
Yeah, freeze pipe. That's what I saw. What
Yeah.
do you call it? Paraphernalia?
Yeah.
Paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he's a
Yeah.
a lot of people reaching out to him.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's it. I mean, there's a podcast called Your Mom's House that it sounds stupid, but it's like enormously huge.
Yeah.
He's going to be on
Segura.
that.
Tom
Tom
Segura's the
Segura.
host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then supposedly he's going to be on Dr. Drew's podcast when we're out there. That's not officially
Like one
booked
of my
yet.
favorite people to listen
Dr.
to.
Drew, love him.
Love listening
Love
to
Dr.
him
Drew.
talk. Yes.
So are you like showing up with him to your mom's house? The Tom
We
Segura?
are, yeah. Yeah.
So you'll meet Tom Segura?
Probably.
He thinks
No
so.
big deal.
Probably not. They probably leave him out on the side.
Yeah.
For security,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
I got to stay
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Gotta stay in the car.
Yeah.
Everyone can
Probably.
come in except for Pat.
Like, and I feel bad saying I heard the name, but I couldn't pick him out of a crowd.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm probably the best person to go because I'm like, what's up?
Not
you know?
impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed with like their podcast and them, but I couldn't pick him out of a crowd.
Okay, that is
Yeah.
good. Like working with this type of talent when you're not like a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be very quiet around Tom Segura just because I do like his stand up and like
Yeah.
I really, really like just appreciate like what
Yeah.
he does. So
That's true.
I would be weird.
Now, if we do go
around
to
him.
Dr. Drew's, I may
Fangirl a little.
Fangirl a little. I love him.
And who's Dr. Drew? He's
I love it.
Celebrity rehab guy. He was on. Yeah, he was on, and he
has a huge podcast.
He was and is still on the radio. Loveline was the show on K-Rock in LA. Him and Adam Carolla actually were on the radio for years.
What's the other one that he had too? Hold on here, I gotta look because I can't remember names.
He had the Dr. Drew show on ESPN. Not ESPN. CNN.
CNN.
Still, is that still
that's
ongoing?
Dr.
No,
Drew.
I don't think so.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I recognize him.
I'm trying to see, but his biggest one really was the
Celebrity
rehab.
rehab because he addiction specialist. Is really what he does. Syndicated radio show. Loveline's been on since 84.
Mm-hmm. I remember when
ended in 2016.
Yeah,
and Shuli is going on his podcast.
That's the plan. That's
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Everything.
Fingers. Yeah. Who knows? But on 420.
The only time we're there is 419 and 420. So it's going to happen on one of those days.
I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, the angle they were going to take was the mental health aspect of it, of why Shuli, because Shuli doesn't live in New York anymore. He lives in Alabama, and he moved to Alabama just because he needed to get out of New York, and that was kind of the angle they're going to take. And they'll probably talk about weed.
Okay.
Too.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm sure that's great.
I'm interested in that, like as a concept, is like people moving to smaller communities like Omaha or Huntsville, Alabama.
Because you can do your jobs anywhere anymore. COVID taught us that you can pretty much do any job work from wherever.
Well, we were talking to somebody just the other day about that, and I'm not going to go into detail because it's still kind of under wraps, but they're changing everything about the way they do business now, and they're moving to a new location, anticipating that most of their staff will now work from home, and as opposed to where it was, they took up a lot of real estate because they had multiple people that worked in one building, and I'm like, wow, that's brilliant, because now you can hire people anywhere because they can do the job from wherever they are. Most of the jobs.
I mean, a great example of that is what we just talked about with Hollywood Raw. You were in Lincoln, I was here. Dax is in LA, Adam is in New York, Brian's in another part of California.
He's in Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, so there are people all over the country
that were all working on the same project.
And in real time.
Dale was in New York.
Yeah.
And Jillian is also in another part of California.
Yeah.
And one of her girls is in Florida.
Right.
So that was putting that stuff together.
So it's just crazy.
Every corner.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's neat. So anyway, there's your Monday.
There is.
Yeah, happy
Thanks
Monday.
for fact checking us.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
We'll give you more info. We'll give you more opportunities to fact check us in the future.
It gets a little hairy sometimes.
Oh, very sketchy. You guys have a great week. Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.